Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first F2 feature race in the RNL season. It's going to be one-shot qualifying initially, followed by 2 lots of 25% races, which in normal F1 sorts of situations, it's a lot longer than you'd think, but in these, it's a lot shorter, so there's not as many laps. We'll see that soon enough, but it's going to be myself commentating, Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me today is my very special guest, Kai Pacini. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. How are you, Ben?
I am fandabidosi. I am excited for an exciting. It's going to be the first time that I've seen F2s being raced in this game from a spectator perspective. Obviously, I've driven the cars a few times myself, and they are amazing. Let's just say that straight off the bat. And we've got some names in here you'll recognise. Remember, this was open to the reserves, Jeffs, and stewards, and also a few other people as well. So if they wanted to come get involved, they absolutely could. Hence why you can see some of the names in there. So Raven Duck, who is our head steward, with Jess as well, who's also a member of there. Furball is another member of the stewards as well. So we've got some good steward action. So if we see any incidents on the track from these guys, then they will be penalised even harder. Not they won't really. There's no track of this. It's just purely just a for fun race. There's no league tracking or anything. But here we go. Immediately we're off with the one-shot qualifying. Now, Kai, who do you want to go on board with to get us through this?
I think it would be interesting to watch Raven Duck, as he is the head of the series and he is a very good at what he does, but he runs very right, and I'm pretty sure that will be an invalidation.
Yeah, I mean, all the cars look a little bit ghosted to me. I don't know if that's normal or not. However, he is now coming up to turn 3. He's just done that quite nicely. He's down in P7 at the minute. Furball's actually leading the way right now. Dr. Mize is close behind him as well. Actually, let's go take a look at Furball, who's delivering a nice quick lap, it seems. Go on board. I love the sound of the F2s. They just sound so sort of raw and meaty. I mean, they don't necessarily pack the biggest punch in the world, but just listen to it.
Yeah, but you got to watch out for Raven Duck. He's been from 7th all the way up to 3rd position, and he is battling. He's went down to 5th position for now, but I think by the end of the lap he might be in 4th or 3rd position, as he was going backwards and forwards through just before.
Yes, indeed. Right, so Furball's now... I've just jumped to Raven Duck. He's down in P4 still, as you were saying. Furball, though, is really sticking well in the P1 as it stands. Remember, we only have one-shot qualifying session, so these boys and girls really need to pull themselves together and get themselves further up the field. It's looking good, though, for Furball, looking good for Dark Demise. How is it going to be? Coming around the final corner now. Needs to get the pressure all the way down. There's the Carlin car. It's the one of the few that I can recognise immediately by looking at it. And Furball crosses the line, takes P1. Dark Demise crosses and takes 2. And then you see the times really start to come in a lot closer. Racebug, Raven Duck, McFriedlich, Nixana, Noosa is coming across shortly. We've got Tinamo and Kavayan, who didn't manage to get a time because they got disqualified or retired. And Jess comes... a little bit of an off there from Jess, but she's still alive, and that matters. That means that she's going to be ahead of Tinamo and Kavayan. So all good indeed. Jess, let's get you across the line, and let's get the start of this Grand Prix underway. She's retired. I think she still finishes in front of Tinamo, though.
Yeah. I think she will, because Tinamo and... Tinamo did retire before her on the track, so you would think that Jess would be starting in front, but no, the game decides to put Tinamo in 8th position and Jess in 9th.
Indeed. So, Furball will start at the front of the grid at the beginning of this race. Furball P1, Dr. Mize P2. Racebug takes 3rd with Raven Duck in 4th. McFriedlich takes 5th. Nixana in 6th with Noosa in 7th. Tinamo in 8th. Jess in 9th and Kavine in 10th. I don't know about you, Kai, but I am excited to see how we get on with turn 1 and potentially have more situations going on into turn 3. It's going to be... it's dry. That's the first thing to notice. It is dry, so there'll be no wet tyres at all. The car setups are completely different in F2 versus F1. So hopefully these guys have done a bit of practice on it. I know that Raven Duck has done a little bit, and McFriedlich has actually done quite a fair bit as well. Just trying to get to grips with the cars. And Jess is saying herself that she struggled a little bit with the accelerator being a little bit lively, shall we say, in comparison to the F1. We'll see if she manages to do okay. Just waiting for the drivers to finish up choosing their strategy for this. Remember, it's 2 lots of 25% races. I'm hyped.
Yeah, it will be a very interesting race to watch. Obviously, not the usual drivers we see in the RNL. Just a bit of fun for these stewards and reserves. And I think we will see pretty much all the drivers using the 2 softest compounds for this 25% race.
Well, indeed. So we're just waiting for the drivers to finish loading. It looks like one of them's having an issue. Once they've loaded, we'll be getting underway. All the cars are on the grid, so it shouldn't take too long to get underway. Just bear with us 2 seconds whilst we're waiting. Something to mention is Noosa's actually reported that the second race is going to be wet, which is going to make it very interesting. Cars sliding everywhere. I mean, Australia in itself is quite difficult in the wet conditions. You know, imagine in an F2 car, the wet conditions are going to be even more difficult. Here we go. So we're on the track, and we have the formation lap. And immediately, Furball's really spinning them rears, trying to just get the car livened up, warmed up. And I'm going to ask you straight off the bat, Kai, who is going to be your top 3 predictions?
I'm going to go not in order, but I think in the top 3 is going to be Dark Demise, Furball, and Raven Duck.
Okay. See, I'm going to do it in order, but I really don't know. TNMO, to my mind, he's the faster of everyone here, but he did have an issue in his one-shot quali, and that caused him to be in the situation he's in right now, which is where he had problems. So he starts the race down in 8th. I actually have a lot of faith in McFreeling. I think he is someone who can be actually really, really quite quick. I just don't think he is necessarily going to win the race. It entirely depends on how he's adapted to the cars. This is the first time I've seen him racing in F2 in quite a while. So I'm hoping that he's learned a fair bit. I'm hoping he's practiced quite a fair bit. And I'm going to put him in my P2 spot. P3, I'm actually going to give it to Raven Duck. Just purely because I like him. I think he's an incredibly, incredibly great guy, and he's really helped me out massively. So it's very ambitious. He probably won't get P3, but I'm going to put him there anyway.
Yeah, it will be interesting to watch Raven Duck to see where he's able to get. We saw Jess having a little bit of a problem on her, let's say, formation lap. And Bren was asking, do they have a mandatory pit stop as it is only 8 laps? Or do they not have a pit stop and it has to be served?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I've never actually done a 25% on F2s. As far as I know, they don't have to. But I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll see if anyone gets disqualified for not pitting. I would be surprised if anyone did. There's another car that's had a mistake there. I think that was Nixana. Alright, cars are lining up now. Tension is building. And the first F2 feature race of Season 3 Rag Nation League is going to be absolutely beautiful. And I'm hoping that next week's one, we're going to see some even more drivers in here. Maybe with next week we can get a full 20-car lobby and just have tons of drivers just battling it out. I think a lot of people were a little bit intimidated and thinking that they weren't going to be fast enough. But I think, you know what, it's just a fun feature race. Here we go, though. Everybody's in their grid boxes. The lights are on. And when we get them out, we are going to be underway with the F2 feature race here in Australia. And it's a slow start there for the car in. That is Jess, I believe. But it's not a bad start there for Furball. They're looking to be going 3 wide, 4 wide in some parts of the track. Going in towards turn 1. No major issues. There's some contact further down the field and lots of cars having issues. There's a car pointing in the wrong direction. That's Nixana. Had a big off there. Raven Duck as well is off too, down into last place. Jess has managed to get away pretty unscathed, whereas there's cars up ahead. They've got some serious wing damage. That's Kavine, who's got no left wing at all. So he's going to need to get himself back to the pits and do a pit stop, which answers the question to some of them. Might be able to go into a harder compound. We'll have to wait and see. But amazingly, we've had a pretty mad start to this race.
Yeah, that was a definite chaotic first lap. And when Raven Duck was trying to return the car to the track, it looks like he also has wing damage because he's went off again. When he was trying to return the car to the track, he had spun off. But there is battles going on up at the front and the back. We have TNMO putting pressure onto the back of Noosa.
Sorry, Dark Demise just lost the rear, got a little bit too excited on the accelerator, spanned the rear, and he went off into the grass. No damage, still alive, just needs to lick his wounds and get on with it a little bit. So see if he can pull this back.
Yep, and TNMO has made it up into third past Noosa, but he has made a mistake on the exit of the corner. Noosa is going to go to the outside. Will he be able to make it past TNMO? TNMO is going to cover the inside. Is going to be too wide into the corner, and it looks like Noosa's going to have to back out, but no, he gets squeezed onto the curb. TNMO just holds onto the position.
Beautiful stuff, beautiful defending there from TNMO, especially after making that little mistake there that almost cost him a position. Really solid, making his car feel very wide. Noosa just couldn't do much, got out onto the curb, and as a result had to back out a touch. And TNMO again having issues, so slipstream is going to be a factor here for Noosa. Not necessarily going to be an area for him to attack here, but on the next straight. And we don't have DRS yet, remember, so we might actually see... As TNMO's round wide, here comes Noosa now, trying to get around him. He's done it. That was a very nice and easy overtake there. TNMO really needs to get to grips with the car. Lots of understeer. And very heavy are these cars.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's not used to this car. And it looks like the pack is starting to spread out. But the only little thing that we see is Nixana nearly on the back of McFreed. We can see he's pushing as hard as possible, using as much skill as possible, trying to get onto the back of McFreed. It is going down. It was at 1 second, now it's at 9/10, and he will just be chipping away at this lap by lap.
He will indeed. We're only one lap away from DRS, so even if you get in that 1 second, as he has just done now, then there will not be any sort of DRS overtakes right here. It's going to be all about using the slipstream, getting a better exit from the corner, like here, for example. If you can get a better exit, as he's not quite done that, just ran a bit onto the curb, onto the grass, sorry, and that's actually going to cost him. But look, you can see he's now falling away a little bit, 9/10. It was 7/10 at one point. And Nixana needs to try and recover that, preparing himself. Also needs to make sure he doesn't cut that corner at all. That would have been pretty tragic. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. I can only assume that's going to be... who is that? No, it's gone already. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, he's already on the back of McFreed. Look at that. Nixana somehow had a major mistake somewhere along the line. The TNMO was able to just get past. He's now trying to go through the inside. Beautiful stuff, TNMO. And a little bit of wobble there, but it has managed to bring himself back up into P4.
And it looks like Nixana might have damage now, because he did run straight into the back of McFreed as he was trying to dodge TNMO when he went up the inside.
Yeah, that left end plate is in bits now. There is no left end plate. That's how much in bits it is. He's going to be trying to close up, preparing for it. He's going for a too-wide move into turn one. He's done it. He has managed to get the car around the corner even without that end plate. And McFreedlick has had a big spin there. Little touch with a wall. I don't know if he actually had any damage, but he's still alive, and that is what matters. Does lose a place for his troubles as well. So not only did he have that little wound there from Nixana, Dark Demise managed to get past him as well.
Yep, and we do have a check on his car. He does have no damage has been occurred to the front wing. But now we have Noosa chasing down second position, which is Racebug. Remember, there was a massive gap now. You can see how much Noosa is enjoying these cars as he is catching the driver in front, hand over fist. You just saw how much he gained through that corner. And I think it looks like Racebug will be in trouble in about a couple of corners.
Yeah, when the DRS is now available, remember, so Racebug needs to get a better exit here than Noosa, otherwise Noosa is going to be making him pay for it. Here he goes now, trying to close up on it. Not sure if it's going to work out or not. Not quite. Still there, but not overtaking. Oh, a little bit of wobble there. That was almost a major disaster. But still alive, still going strong. I've seen yellow flags in Sector 1. It's not Furball. It's not... Is it Jess? No, Jess is still going alright. Alright, well, we'll come back to that later. Yeah,
He's
possibly.
Now 12 seconds behind Dark Demise. So I think he has made another mistake, unfortunately. Which now he's 12.9 seconds behind Dark Demise. So he's just racing with himself right now. And look how close Noosa is on to the back of Racebug. It looks like Racebug will definitely be in trouble. He's going to go to the outside. Will he be able to make a stick? This would be glory days, but no. He's going to try and cut to the outside again. Racebug covers the inside. Will this scrap keep going on? He's going to go to the outside. Racebug is going to squeeze him. He's going to have to lift off the throttle and tuck him behind.
That was close. There was almost a big disaster going into the wall, but he actually managed to keep it all together with Noosa still making moves on Racebug, not able to get past him. Racebug managed to defend beautifully, holding Noosa back, and so now Racebug holds P2, but 4 more laps to go of this, 5 if you include the one that they're on still now. I don't know how much more Racebug can hold on to.
Yeah, I think Racebook will be under a lot of pressure from Noosa, as you can see the raw pace that he has around this track. You can see how good of a defender that Racebook is, but you can see the raw pace in Noosa, and I think we will see a good battle from these two throughout the race.
So Racebug still alive through this DRS section. It's now whether or not Noosa is going to turn up the heat a little bit on Racebug in these final few laps. I'm not sure how much different he's going to adapt his driving style, but that gap is sitting at 5/10. Oh, there's a mistake. Racebug now is in big trouble as Noosa is right on the back of him. DRS wing's about to be wide open. A big mistake there from Noosa. Gets a bit wide. His back end just clipped the wall, and now he has no left end plate. And so everything he just achieved has just been destroyed.
Yeah, and that is a big mistake. You can now see the gap, and who's that in the wall? That is Raven Duck. So you can see Raven Duck has just had enough of this race. He's in the wall. It's very unfortunate, but I think we will see a comeback from him in the second race. But Noosa now 1.4 seconds behind, and he was right on the back. So that will cost him at least 2 laps of chasing down.
It will indeed. So Noosa slowly bringing that gap back down. But speaking of gaps closing, Nick Sano on the back of TNMO breaks into the 1 second DRS zone. Looks like he's still got issues with that front wing. I'm just looking to see if that end plate is still missing or whether he's actually... No, it is still missing. Yeah, so Nick Sano struggling whenever it comes to right-hand turns. But when it comes to the left ones, he should still be laughing quite nicely. Oh, downshifted a bit too quickly there. TNMO gets a bit on the grass. This is now Nick Sano's opportunity to close up and get some pressure on him, but not quite yet. Just teetering around the 1 second margin. And TNMO not showing as much power and dominance as I expected.
I know we've been watching him the whole race, but look at Noosa. He's already within a second, so he's already brought back half a second in just half a lap. So you can just see the pace that Noosa has compared to Racebug, and you'd think soon Noosa will have that second position by the end of the race.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we already saw what happened last time he tried to make an overtake, even when Racebug made a mistake. It was Noosa that actually put himself in the wall through his own mistakes. So hopefully Noosa can actually get the composure again and get the commitment to it. Oh, TNMO almost hits that wall. Nick Sano didn't quite take the corner as quick as he would have been liked, and he is still somehow closing in on TNMO by quite a margin. So despite the fact that Nick Sano didn't quite take the corner as quick as possible, did actually end up in a position where he's slowly closing up. Something else to mention is I actually saw earlier on in this race that TNMO does have a 2 second time penalty. He also seems to have issues as Nick Sano is going for a dive down the inside. It was a mistake from TNMO that kind of caught Nick Sano off guard, and that's why he's given the position back. Nick Sano just had to quickly dodge the car, and he did well to minimize the contact. It was only a little gentle tickle. TNMO broke a lot earlier than anticipated, and Nick Sano just had a little clip. And looking around to see if TNMO can play it back. Oh, that's not going to help the situation. Nick Sano?
Yep, and I think one thing that the drivers will be struggling is just the grip in general, because look at how thin the tyres are. Oh, TNMO nearly going into the side of Jess. Wow, that was a very close to call. And that does mean that Nick Sano gets past. TNMO hits the wall and he does pick up damage. He will not be happy with just what happened there.
Well, I'm going to look at TNMO's wing because I think his wing is now... Yeah, he's got the same problem as Nick Sano, except it's on the opposite side. So, Nick Sano will struggle with any of the right-hand corners, whereas TNMO will struggle with any of the left-hand corners. So, I don't know who's going to benefit the most here. I do know there's a lot of right-hand corners on this track, and there's not really that many left-hand corners where you can fully capitalise on aerodynamic pressure. I mean, these cars understeer like crazy anyway, so it'd be good for them with DRS wide open, but yeah, TNMO struggling here.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons why drivers will be struggling for grip and just front end in general is because look at how thin the tyres are on the front end. Like, they are really small compared to the F1 tyres of what we're used to racing on this game. And I think that's the main struggle that drivers are facing.
It seems that way. Well, Racebook and Noosa are still scrapping, even when we've only got 1.5 laps to go. Ooh. It's beautiful to see.
And TNMO has went off into the gravel and now down into 5th position, down into 6th. And that is a big mistake. He just went straight on.
Luckily, there's 2 25% races, so he still has an opportunity to bring himself back up to the top. Oh, no, if he does that, though, that was a big back-end kick out. More wing has left his car. He's now got 0 end plates, so left and rights are going to be difficult nonetheless. Tino needs to try and find a way to bring himself back into this. P6 is still obviously going to be a points position. Everyone who's here, as long as they cross the line, will get points positions. It all depends, though, on how quick they can deliver pace. Noosa, about to cross the line with Racebook for the second to last time. How is he going to make this move happen?
It will be an interesting one to see Noosa and Racingbook, as you said, they're going across the line for the last time now. We're on lap 8 of 8, and Noosa 1.1 seconds behind. Will he be able to make the move on the last lap?
I think he's just too far back, if I'm honest. I just don't feel as though it's going to be a doable situation. Oh, again, a little bit on the curb there. That's going to slow him down quite drastically. You can see the time is now dipping away a bit more. 1.2 seconds is the gap. Can Noosa do anything throughout these corners? He seems to be better on the brakes, seems to be better on getting on the acceleration than Racebook, but Racebook seems to be able to do enough to keep the car ahead. It's all going to come down to, do these drivers have penalties? And if so, how many do they have?
Yeah, it definitely will come down to the penalties. So we know Nick Sana has a 2-second penalty, but 15 seconds behind his Dark Demise, so he doesn't need to worry about that one. But does Racebook have a penalty? We haven't really seen anything in the chat for him.
No, we haven't. But look at the gap between Noosa and Racebook. That has really plummeted down now. 5.5 tenths. Now down to under 5 tenths. So Racebook is in big trouble with the DRS coming available on the next corner. You can already see the pace is slowing down for Racebook. He needs to make sure that Noosa doesn't make a mistake. DRS waiting open now. It's going to come down to the final few corners. Furball further upfield will be coming round the final corner now to take the first race victory. But it's all going to be who out of these two will take P2. I think Racebook has managed to do enough to keep it together.
Yeah, it does look like Racebook has kept this, but anything can happen on this last corner. Racebook makes it around the corner, and it will be Racebook who takes second position, but will penalties play a force in this position battle? No, it won't. Noosa has to settle for third, and it's going to be our top 3. It's going to be Furball, Racebook, and Noosa, but that could all change in the second race.
It can indeed. So beautiful stuff to see those guys on the podium step for the first race. Nick Sana will cross the line in 4th. There's actually still an opportunity for McFriedlich to be taking a place from TNMO. TNMO has penalties, remember, and don't think McFriedlich has any. So this might actually work out for him. I mean, he's got a pretty damaged wing. There's TNMO just going around the final corner. You can see McFriedlich in the background. TNMO will cross the line there in 6th. Will McFriedlich jump him? No, he will not. It's close, though. Only 3 tenths separates the two of them. And it will be Kavine coming across the line in 8th. And Jess, who's only got a couple of corners to go, will cross the line in 9th. And with our only DNFer being Ravenduck, that is a really, really good result for the first feature race here in the Recognition League.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to see Ravenduck, the only one who has crashed out. So that does show that the drivers are really clean in this race, and there wasn't much contact as I thought I would see in these F2 races.
I mean, to be honest, they did a very good job of keeping it close together and keeping it clean. I mean, aside from turn 1, other than that, it was pretty damn clean and very good overall results. But yeah, there you go. Furball does take the first place in the first feature race. It's now on to the next one to see who will benefit the most. Fastest lap also goes to Furball, and by quite some margin as well. If you look, 1:37.711 is the fastest lap. The next fastest is... oh, it's tight. It's McFriedlich. Sorry, not McFriedlich. Kavine, who takes a 1:38.596, and then you have a 1:38.574 of Noosa. And then it starts to get a little bit further apart after that, with Racebook being after that there. Who really, I mean, Dark Demise, he really had a rough start to that race. Was P2, fell down the order, ended up down in P5 at the end of the race. I'm just looking elsewhere as well. Ravenduck, probably the biggest oof overall, I think, because P10 is where he ends up with a DNF, and he started 4th. Not good.
No, it's very unfortunate for Ravenduck to be down in 10th position. I think he'll definitely have a point to prove in the second race, and we will see him gunning for a top 3 and a podium position.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, we're waiting for the drivers to advance so we can proceed onto the second stage. Now it's what is called the sprint race, and it's wet. Yes, this is going to be exciting. A very wet race. This is going to make it super intense. I'm hyped. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. People were struggling for grip with the F2s in the dry, and now we got it in the wet. So I think we will see a couple of tears from the drivers when they do see that it's wet.
Well, I don't actually think we're going to get to see the tears because this is a torrential downpour, which suggests to me that the tears will be washed away very swiftly. So the drivers are trying to think about the strategies, trying to think about what they're going to do. It is only a sprint race. It's only going to be, I think, 6 laps in total, which is a good thing, good start. Very excited for it. And I think we have another formation lap when the driver's ready up. Or computer's ready up, should I say. I'm going to ask you right off the bat, though, again. So, in terms of top 3, I think we both went for Raven Duck, if I remember correctly. And we were both very much left in... we felt a little bit betrayed. Do we want to go with him again, or are we going to change it up just a tad?
I think for my top 3, I'm going to go... let's think about this. Definitely Noosa in the top 3, just from the performance that he's shown last time. And who was P1 again?
Furball.
Furball. So I'm going to put Furball, Noosa, and Raven Duck P3.
Raven Duck?
Yep.
You backing him still in a wet race?
No, I'm sticking with my gut.
Alright, okay, fair enough. Well, I'm not going to back him because he let me down. And it's wet conditions, which tells me one thing, that this is just not going to go well at all. I think he's already span.
Nope, he just didn't get a good start off the line.
Ah, well.
He must have anti-stalled.
I mean, on these cars, it's quite easy to anti-stall. He's having troubles. Yeah, look, I'm definitely not putting him in my top 3. I think Furball has got the skill and the pace, but he is going to be starting much further down the order than before. So P8 is where he's going to start. It's going to then be down to how well can he keep out of trouble. I expect there's going to be a lot of drivers that will be losing control of their cars around this track. Just look how wet it is. So much standing water as well. It's incredible. This is going to be an exciting Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. And I think we will see a lot of action as we see all the crowd with their umbrellas just cheering on the drivers as they're on the formation lap. But I think we will see at least, as we already see someone off, and I'm pretty sure that was Jess. Yeah,
Jess is struggling. She's just, as she was saying earlier, that in the lower gears, she really finds it difficult to keep the car in a position where, because it keeps snapping from her. She keeps getting snap oversteer from the torque. Ultimately, all she needs to do is just short shift a little bit more, turn the differential as much as possible to be better off. But at the minute, we'll see what she can deliver, but this wet race is going to be tragic for most drivers.
Yeah, I think we will see a lot of drivers struggling and a chaotic first corner to say the least.
Do you reckon we're going to see another 3 wide, 4 wide going into turn 1?
Oh, yeah.
Do you reckon anybody's going to have learned from the last time based on how that went? Because, I mean, looking at it from last time, I don't think so. I mean, McFreelick and Nixana are currently on the grid. It looks like they had a reset to track as a result.
Thinking about the drivers, learning about 4 wide into a corner, no, I think they're still going to challenge for the positions. These are the drivers, and they are going to be battling for every position they can gain, because that is just one more bragging right every time you can get.
Yep. So most of the drivers are in the grid. We're just waiting for Raven Duck and Jess. Jess is just coming around the final corner now. Had a few issues, as you saw on the formation lap, just trying to accommodate, especially with how much it just snaps from the rear. But this is going to be a nuts Grand Prix. I can already feel it. I am super excited. I can't wait to see who's going to benefit the most. And now, lights are on, umbrellas are out, as you mentioned earlier. And when they go out, it's going to be for the final time in the F2 race. And it's away we go. And immediately we're seeing cars starting to get away quite nicely. I didn't expect to see it so clean. But there's a car already off the side there. I'm not sure who that is. I think that might be actually Nixana. Seeing some sideways action. This car's already gone off. There's Friedrich gone off to the right hand side. That's not good for him. Really falling down the order. Managed to get himself back together. TNMO also in the same situation. Jess is keeping up with Friedrich, but just has a bit of a touch of oversteer. Ravenduck does manage to get past them all now, and Nixana takes P1, but runs seriously wide off into the gravel. Here comes Kavine as well, back up into race lead, with Noosa taking third place, providing Nixana doesn't get in the way, and it's already going to be a problem between the two of them. It's looking tidy enough, though, and Noosa takes P2, and Nixana falls to P3, and Furball is trying to close up.
Yep, and Furball is already up into 4th position. He won the last race, and he will be trying to win this one. But it looked like I can't say that name. Kavine is in the lead. Oh, there's a little bit of a kick out of the back end for Furball coming into the chicane. Where's he going to be able to get onto these drivers?
Oh! Sorry, TNMO just went into the side, went for a dive down the inside, went into the side of Racebug and gets rotated as a result. It was a very tight corner to even attempt that sort of rotate. It was only wheel-to-wheel action. I don't think there was any wing damage at all on that car. No, he's looking pretty cozy overall. But still. Oh, Dark Demise. Looks like he's had a game crash or something. Has left the session. Hopefully one of the drivers will give him an invite back. But might be the end of the Grand Prix for him. Kavine's... Oh, Nixana's gone off again over into the gravel. Now he's starting to fall down the order as he rejoins the track. Gets a little bit in the way. You could argue that was a bit of an unsafe rejoin of the track, but will fall down to P6 nonetheless. McFreelick is scrapping with Racebug, and Dark Demise, who we saw left this session, is now right on the back of this.
Yeah, he is right on the back of that battle now, and I think it will be interesting to watch Dark Demise trying to make that move on Nixana. You can see the rain just getting heavier and heavier. This must be absolutely horrendous to drive. Right at the back of Nixana's gearbox is Dark Demise. Oh, and there goes McFreedlick with literally a carbon copy of the first corner.
Yeah, sadly, just can't seem to get that going together. Dark Demise has managed to rejoin, which is brilliant news. Furball's going down the inside of Racebug. Racebug gets sent wide as a result. I think it was just a slight misjudgment on the braking there from Furball. Oh, a little bit of contact between Nixana and Racebug there. I mean, Racebug was quite nicely on the inside. Nixana just ran a little bit wide, and as a result, did a little clip there. That's now Nixana off onto the grass again. Dark Demise managed to get past and in front of Nixana as well. Racebug stays up in P4. And Furball now starting his charge to close up on Noosa.
Yeah, Noosa, he does have a 3-second gap behind. Oh, and it looks like there is still a bit of lag for Dark Demise. He keeps ghosting and re-entering. Nixana does able to get past because of that problem, but he does make a mistake on the curb and he does drift wide. And Dark Demise does just slip through, and now there's a big gap, yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. So 2 drivers off already.
Indeed. Kavine in P1 being very swiftly chased down by Noosa. Furball made a mistake and now Racebug is back up into P3. The gap between them is actually starting to separate more than I anticipated. However, I'm looking around the field and I'm seeing Nixana getting really close to the back of Dark Demise here. It's going to be a little change of positions. Nixana is now up into P5. However, it's a good scrap up at the front with Kavine leading and Noosa just under a second behind.
Yep, and Noosa, you can see 8 temps. Obviously, he won't have DRS in the rain because it is so wet. He just set the fastest lap, though, and that will just put a little bit more pressure on Kavine's shoulders to show that Noosa is chasing him down.
Yes, absolutely. Looking around the field, the Ravenduck is struggling. I think he's got a lot of wing damage. I thought he's just got a lot of understeer. Down in P9, Jess is in P10. Further downfield, McFreedlick is also a little bit ahead now in P8. Nixana is having track issues. McFreedlick almost went off there. I thought I saw him losing the back. Here we see Nixana trying to get a pass on Dark Demise. Dark Demise driving a very defensive line. Here comes Nixana down the inside. Contact between the two of them. Nixana gets rotated. More contact as well. That's Nixana out of this Grand Prix. TNMO is now going to take that position away. And there's a big scrap going on for race lead.
Yeah, Nixana, he is all over the back of Kavine. He's going to try up the inside. No, he's not. He had a think about it, but he has to back out. Kavine runs very wide. Oh, and it's going to be very close between the two of them. Kavine, Noosa gets the inside. Oh, and he's going to turn across of them. And I think Noosa won't be happy with that one.
No, it was very close. It was Noosa that was on the inside, but Kavine just got a little bit excited on the accelerator, and that's why he came back across with a snap oversteer. In these conditions, it's very easy to do. But look at the pace that Noosa's getting out of the corner. Is he going to attempt to dive down the inside on this corner? No, he's not. He's going to take the smart line. He's going to keep it a little bit safe and careful. And Kavine runs wide. Noosa's coming for a move now. This is going to be a change of race lead, and Noosa is ahead. Will lead this Grand Prix. And 3 laps to go. This is going to be an exciting end.
Yep, and to think Noosa came 3rd place last time. If he is able to win this race, he will win the Drivers' Championship, considering that Furball stays in 4th position.
Indeed, so Noosa really starting to break that gap as well. Look, Kavine is already over a second behind. At the same time, you can see that Racebug is actually closing in on this as well, so might actually be able to do something about this. Racebug got P2 in the last race, Noosa got P3, and Noosa is looking dead set right now, like you say, to take the first Grand Prix overall this weekend. And Furball's the only person who can really challenge that, and he needs to jump up a couple of places just to be in that sort of position, unless Racebug manages to nick something away from Noosa.
Yeah, it will be interesting because Racebug is very close now to the back of Kavine. I think Kavine is having a little bit of trouble with that F2 car in the rain. You can see Racebug just throwing the car through the corners. The back end kicking out a bit, but ooh, that was a very close one. But Furball, 6 seconds behind. He's going to have to do a miracle if he wants to get that 3rd position.
Yeah, really. I mean, either that or he needs to pray that one of these DNF. Oh, that was almost another big mistake there from Racebug. I mean, you can see how committed he is to just closing up onto the back of Kavine. He needs his P2, really, just to be in a position where he might actually be able to take something from Noosa if Noosa makes more mistakes. The gap is just around 2 seconds between Noosa and Kavine. Racebug needs to make quick work of Kavine so that he can... Racebug needs to make quick work of Kavine so that he can then start his charge and bring it down closer on Noosa. And then Noosa needs to give Racebug a taste of his own medicine from earlier.
But the thing is, when Racebug does try to make a move on Kavine, that will open up the gap to Noosa, so Noosa won't have as much pressure on him. But talking about Noosa, he will start coming on to the penultimate lap, and he will just be trying to keep it on track, keep it at a consistent lap time, and hold this win for his own.
Indeed, the gap is actually getting smaller between Noosa and Kavine. You can see now it was 2 seconds, it's now down to 1.4. So Kavine has pulled something out of the bag. Not sure how he's done it, but oh, big mistake there. This is going to be Racebug coming down the outside of Kavine, and now P2 is in the pocket of Racebug, and the charge is on. You can see the gap is over 2 seconds now, so whatever was made in that last lap has just been chucked away, but Racebug is free now to do whatever he wants and start this charge.
Yep, and unless Racebug can catch 1.25 seconds each lap, it looks like Noosa, he does just lose the back end a little bit. Unless Noosa crashes or Racebug catches 1.25 seconds a lap, it does look like Noosa will have this race for his own.
Yeah, it's still there. Still a possibility he can make a mistake, though. I've not seen many from him as we lose Jess. Unfortunately, she has retired from the session. So P9 is where she's going to sit after this one. And I just want to see if Ravenduck actually makes it to the end of this Grand Prix. Didn't make it to the end of the first one. Racebug is not really bringing this gap down. Noosa was much faster out of the corners, much better on the brakes than Racebug. And that's why you're seeing the gap is just sitting there. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't expect this to be changing anytime soon.
Yep, and as Noosa comes around the final couple of corners to start his last lap when he gets onto the straight, I think Noosa will just be trying to keep the car on track. It doesn't have to be a rapid lap, but it does have to just be a decently fast lap. And it looks like Noosa will have this race to savor and the Drivers' Championship in his pocket unless something happens to a driver in front of Furball. Which I don't think is going to happen from the consistent driving we have been seeing from all 3 of this top podium.
Well, you say that, but look at that time. Racebug just sets the fastest lap of the session so far. However, it's still a huge gap between the two of them, given this situation as it stands. 1.7 seconds is the gap between the race lead and Racebug. Unless Noosa... Oh, Racebug just gets a little bit excited on the rear end there. Not quite delivering what he needed to. Really needs to find a way to get his foot down and get gone here, but no. Back up to 2 seconds that time goes. Noosa looking dead set to win this Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I think he will be very happy with himself after this race, as he will start to come around the last couple of corners for the last half of the track as he comes through the complex. A very difficult corner in the dry, never mind the wet. You have to take it very careful, not too eager on the throttle, or you will end up in a wall which you get very close to on the exit.
So, I have been told that in race 2, in the sprint race, you only get 15 points for a win. So Furball may actually still win this weekend overall, which is interesting. I didn't know that. Dr. Mizo is actually trying to make that a big problem for him now. Furball and Dr. Mizo side by side as they come through. There's a ball out that's gone missing. That's going to be a little bit of a corner cut there from Dr. Mizo. I think he's going to be able to get himself ahead. He is now ahead of Furball. Furball is going to have to do a lot to keep this position back again. He's gone for a huge lunge down the inside. This is Furball back up in a P4. Dr. Mize has gone round the outside. They're just switching places left, right and centre. Dr. Mize back up in a P4. Furball sits 5th as we go around up onto the home straight. Noosa will cross the line and take P1. There's Racebook coming and taking P2. Kavine will come in 3rd. Furball and Dr. Mize, I don't know who's going to finish where, but this is going to be close between the two of them. Slipstream is going to be effective for Dr. Mize, but I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. I do think Furball will take 4th, and Dr. Mize will take 5th, with Tinamo crossing line taking 6th, and then soon enough we'll see Mafreelik and Ravenduck cross the line and take 7th and 8th. What a Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was a very interesting 2 races, and you can see Noosa 3rd and 1st. He's got to be happy with those results. That was an absolutely amazing drive from him.
Indeed. Right, we need to get an idea of what the points are going to be like once everyone has crossed the line. I'm not sure exactly what the outcome will be. We'll wait for the graphic to come up and tell us. But we're just waiting for the head steward to make his way around the final 2 corners. Very gingerly come in. He wants to still secure those points and actually cross the line for the first time in this weekend. Here he comes. There you go. Nice little short shift. There you go. Now he gets himself in a better position. And across the line. Beautiful stuff. Like it. That was a great race.
Yeah, that was an amazing race from all the drivers that took place in that race. And I hope they did enjoy that. Those 2 little, let's say, couple of laps. But it was 25%ers.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Really enjoyed that. There is the man Noosa himself taking the top step in the sprint race. Has he done enough to secure the race? The points overall for the weekend? The suspicion is that no is going to be the answer. Let's take a look now. Get my XP out of the way. The weekend. I think Furball. Yeah, Furball still wins. So Furball takes the win overall for the weekend. Racebug takes 2nd as he got 2 second-place finishes. Noosa will sit 3rd as a result. Dr. Mize takes 4th with Kavine in 5th. Nixana takes 6th. Tinamo in 7th. McFreelik in 8th. Jess takes 9th. And Ravenduck will take a big 1-0. Wow, there you go. That was it for the F2 race, a feature race for the RNL season. That again, these are just for fun sort of races that they happen over the every week. We're going to see next weekend if we can get any more drivers in. Get a nice 20 driver lobby. That would be beautiful. I'd love to cast that and get all the excitement and the overtaking action. But a big thank you, Kai, for being here and commentating with me. We've got just about 12 minutes before we get underway with the next race. So I'm going to now jump over to the waiting screen as we wait for the Australian Grand Prix for the first race of Season 3. Be back soon.